house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. I've been practicing this pitch a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan, and with me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
What up?
This is episode 190, and as you can see, this is a completely new studio. A lot of time has been put in. It's a new look Big Easy Bets podcast in many different ways. Joseph up and left us. Joseph's gone, and while things change, a lot of things stay the same. Justin, the Russian concussion Mascaro, is back with us on the ones and twos. How are you, Justin?
Doing great.
It's good to have Justin back. Joseph, I text you every year. I texted Joseph the last couple years. I gauge everybody's interest where we're at, motivation-wise for the podcast. Joseph said he's very motivated to do the podcast. And then he up and left us. He went to Florida. Going to be he found out his passion. I don't know if it was Shark Week or what it was, but Joseph found out that his passion is scuba diving. So you can't scuba dive here. He up and left, went to Florida, loaded up everything he has, and he's going to go learn how to scuba.
Yeah.
You got anything to say to Joseph?
I mean, what an idiot, huh?
1 year, Joseph will be gone. Unless his scuba career takes off, I guess, then we're going to be without Joseph for a little while. But he sends his well wishes. We miss him. He'll be okay. We'll see him again one day, maybe. Football is back. Last night, preseason got underway. It's meaningless football, but it felt good to hear the helmets clacking together, and just seeing it back on the TV starts to feel right.
Yeah, I mainly watched it just see what the kickoff looked like.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to get into. So yeah, the new kickoff rule. I don't even know all the specifics, like where exactly they line up from.
Yeah, I don't know the exact rules of what you can and can't do.
I think they're on the opposite 40. Both, I don't know how many kick returners you can even put back. I honestly completely forgot about it until 10 minutes before the game when they started talking about it. And they start kind of breaking everything down, going through just what you can and can't do a little bit. But I don't think even the announcers or the officials know. So everybody's just out there just kind of running, kind of making it up as they go. I don't know how I feel about it. I think naturally I hate it because it's new. But I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, it's dumb.
I don't want it to.
I think.
Go ahead.
It's like, so the kickoffs I just watched the first half, but like none of the returners got past the 30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like the goal for the kicking team is not going to be to kick it in the end zone. It's going to be to kick it into the zone that you can receive it. Because if the ball goes in the end zone, it goes to the 30 now.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
So it was the 20, then the 25, now the 30.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know the Patriots started doing that early on. They were the first ones that I saw where they were intentionally keeping it in play, so you had to field it. We'll see how it goes. I don't love it at first sight. I don't want anything to do away with kick returners. Devin Hester was one of the most electric players of all time. You don't have him if we don't have the opportunity to return kicks. He was an okay receiver. He was an incredible kick returner. So I don't have a strong opinion on it currently, but I don't love it. But I feel like that's natural even with anything new. Everybody's initial reaction is like, I fucking hate that.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go when they get it.
Yeah. And I know that's the idea is they want to minimize the collisions, they want to minimize injuries and people not being able to think straight when they're 60. But I mean, you know what you sign up for. That I would put a kick return touchdown up there as one of the most exciting plays in the game. Mm-hmm. So what else? So this is, again, episode 190. We're going to be doing our college football futures. We're going to give you some over-under win totals. Nick's going to have more than I will this year. We're going to have, I feel strongly and have already bet big on one team to win the national championship. We're going to go over Heisman Trophy odds. If you remember last year, this was ours, but more yours than mine, most profitable episodes.
Yeah.
You made a large portion of your money on your futures. So.
Yep. Win totals, Jaden Daniels, Heisman. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Jaden Daniels Heisman, what was it, 18-1? 18-1?
Yeah.
You're also going to see us just kind of knock the rust off. This is the first episode this is probably the longest hiatus we've had since we started this show. Obviously, as you can tell, unless you're listening, go head on over to YouTube, hit like and subscribe, and check out with your own two eyes the new studio. We completely redid everything. So we used to be in a completely different room, different setup, different level of equipment. I say every year it's bigger and better every single year. This is about as big and as better as it's ever going to get. So this is the peak. We've reached it. We're not going any higher than this. I don't know how we can. The table was made by you. By hand. Shout out to Zach for helping you out with that. It came out much better than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have no prior experience doing any type of woodworking, and you were like, I can build it. I was like, okay. I'm very much like, I can't build it, so I'll just pay somebody that can build it to do it. So you were like, I'll build it. And I was like,
Yeah, it was a process.
Yeah.
It was a lot of learning by making errors and trying to fix them, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like you said, if you did it again, the errors are very minimal. Nobody will ever be able to tell except us. Very, very minimal errors. And you said, like, that's with anything. As you do it once, you're going to minimize those mistakes the second go round. And there were such minimal errors, there's not that much to minimize. So, no, I think it came out like a 10 out of 10. The color's great. The shape is exactly what we wanted. So, yeah, this is going to be a big year for the Big Easy Bets podcast. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, I mean, completely new studio. I gotta address, because I swear it's every year with people, and season hasn't started yet, but a couple morons are in mid-season form already. The guy arguing with me about, am I wrong? There was a guy arguing with me about tracking wins and losses and keeping track of what's your ROI percentage, and there's this like faction of people that don't really understand what they're talking about, but try to inundate you with terminology and things that don't make sense. Was what I was saying incorrect?
No, he was like looking for a total.
One, he asked us what we bet.
Like a total history of all of our bets.
Yes, which we can get you, but he was asking what do we bet on each play. Why?
He was asking how much money we bet on each play, how much money did we win last year.
Yes. So it's why is the amount that we bet relevant? Is that? Like,
I don't think so.
Am I missing the mark there? Because
a lot of people don't share about how much they bet.
Because if I tell you we bet $1, what are you going to say? If I tell you we bet $1,000, what are you going to say? What does it matter? If I tell you we just hit 100 winners in a row and we bet a penny on each one, are you not going to take them? You don't want them?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. So that's the whole thing. Like, people say don't unit shame or whatever. It doesn't matter how much you bet. It matters if you can pick winners. And that was my point. But then he's like, what's your profit compared to your losses and this and that? Like, are you not keeping track of that? I'm like, buddy, I don't know how else to tell you that every bet we place, I've said it a million times, I say it every single year. There's a lot of people out there that will bet heavy favorite money lines, minus 350 money lines, and they add it to their win-loss record. Anybody can pick that winner. 9 times out of 10, that team's going to win. We don't do that. All of our plays, if you hear us give out a play, unless specified otherwise, which it almost never is, if you hear us give out a play, it's minus 110 odds. It's against the spread, or it's a point total. We may say we're taking this team on the spread and we think they can win outright, but we're not adding money line winners to our record. Never have, never will. So for the guy asking, what was your percentage and what if I would have bet 10, blah, 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 take the fucking record, add it to a minus 110 odds, and do it however you want. You're either betting 110 to win 100. You're either betting $1.10 to win $1, or you're betting $1 to win whatever it comes out to be, 91 cents. You know?
Yeah.
Like, am I wrong in saying that? That's what I'm like, I was scratching my head. I was like, I'm going to have to block you because you're a clown. You can't figure it out. I didn't think I was being confusing, but just to set the record straight for anybody that does not know, every bet we place on this show is minus 110 odds against the spread or on the point total. We're not adding heavy money line favorites to our win-loss record. So I threw your record in there. You were where it's over there somewhere. You were 42, 46, 32-1 in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I'm like, he's like, well, what was he betting? It's like, what does it fucking matter? 46, 32-1 is good every day of the week, no matter what you're betting. So I don't know, dude. Some people just get under my skin and are just aggravating in this space. So what else? The Olympics are in full swing. We're not going to dive into the controversy that's been sweeping the nation about the boxer. Is she a he or a she? We're not going to dive into that. We're not going to dive into the Italian lady taking one punch and saying, fuck the Olympics. I'm out of here. I'm not worried about the Olympics.
Damn, that hurts.
That's what everybody kind of glossed over that. Like, she just trained for 4 years, got punched once and said, no thanks. I'm out of here. I personally love the Olympics. I know a lot of people don't really care for them. Didn't you say you're like, you're indifferent about them?
Yeah, these days I don't really care.
We grew up in the golden age of the Olympics, in my opinion. 2008 Beijing with Michael Phelps. You had Michael Phelps in the pool. You had Usain Bolt on the track. So Michael Phelps was winning all the medals, setting the whatever, either I think it was overall Olympian record. Usain Bolt, fastest guy on the planet. Team USA was back for basketball. I feel like the 2008, the Beijing Olympics was one of the best ever, and that was like right in the heart of us growing up. So I've always loved the Olympics. I've always loved like watching swimming and watching the comebacks, just people working really hard for something. And then, I mean, dude, you win a gold medal on the world stage. So I've always been a fan of it. I find myself watching archery and fucking ping pong and handball and all these sports that I would never watch otherwise. But we're about to get into the good stuff. We're about to get into the 100-meter dash. I think it's tomorrow. Let's see who's the fastest man in the world. All the swimming's basically done. We're going to see Team USA go win another gold medal again. And then, all the track and field stuff. So,
did y'all see the shooting guy?
Yes.
Who went out there with no glasses, no nothing, and
yes,
got a silver?
Yes. He was, where was he from? Turkey, maybe?
Yeah, Turkey.
Yeah, everybody else is wearing like some shit out the Matrix, and then he's just like dude, I think it was like the perfect, because he just looked like a guy that they just like, we need somebody to fill in. He's like, okay, and went down and got a silver medal. Yeah, no, I thought that was awesome.
I saw somewhere he kept asking like the employees like where the smoking area is.
Yeah, I don't know if that was legitimate or not, but I saw that too.
A bunch of crazy stuff. Like one were about like his ex-wife or something.
Yeah.
Like that, and I was like.
Yeah, they said he's a mechanic. He owns a mechanic shop. in his spare time, he goes shooting. And he was like, won the silver medal and was like, do y'all have a smoking section? I don't know if that's legitimate, but I hope it is. What else? Anything else before we get into college football?
Nope.
So we're very, very close to meaningful games. Before we get into it, we have a new partner, an exclusive partner of the Big Easy Bets podcast. It is BetStamp. So if you don't know what BetStamp is, it's honestly an easy sell for us. Nick told me about it a couple years ago. I had never heard of it. I looked into it. I primarily used it because it has the best feature, in my opinion. It has all the odds in one place. You go click on a hypothetical LSU versus Alabama. It has every sports book. You can add whichever one you want or take whichever one you want off. All those sports book listed in one place. You can pinpoint who has the best odds, money line, spread, point total, whatever you want. Everything's listed right there. You go, okay, I'm going to this sports book. I'm going to place the bet because they have the best odds. All in one place on BetStamp. The new thing that they've kind of rolled out is we get asked a lot. How can you should charge for picks is what a lot of people say. Or how can we repay you? Outside of buying merch, which we do have new shirts out right now, you can help us out by clicking on this link that's going to be in the description of this video and on the podcast. It's signupexpert.com/BigEasyBets. You click on it. What you do is you don't have to do anything other than if you're not signed up on a sports book and you want to be signed up on that sports book, whether it's FanDuel, Caesars, BetMGM, whatever, you click on it through the link. All you do is just sign up like normal, and then that's how you help us out. So they're all going to have promotional things that they have price match guarantees. They have bet $5 to win $100 or to get $100, things like that. Each one has a different promotional, whatever you want to call it, incentive to join. But that's your way to help us out. You go click that link. It'll be in the description, like I said, of this video, as well as the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But if you're not going to do that, you should just use the app for having all the lines in one place. I use it every single week. It's a big help. It really is. I think if you are consistently betting on games, you need to be using it. It's a tremendous help. So I don't know how you feel about it. Obviously, you were using it before I was.
Yeah, it's like, as far as I know, it's the fastest as far as updating and comparing lines at different sports books.
Yeah.
So that's why I like it, because if you want to bet something and it's not quite where you want it, like let's say you want something under a touchdown, but it's still at 7, you just keep checking bet stamp and it'll be the first place that you can find and compare where the first place that has under 7.
Yeah, and there were plenty of times where I got caught betting a team at 7 and there was a 6.5 and I just didn't search hard enough.
Right.
So that's the worst feeling if you know, especially if it ends at 7 and you push and you could have won if you would have just known that this sports book had it. Instead, you bet it over here. BetStamp is the way to avoid that. So they have, like I said, everything all in one place. And again, the links will be placed below. You can help us out. You go sign up. That's all you got to do. No promo codes, no nothing. You just go in, sign up, place your bet, just like normal. So, all right, let's get into it. We got a lot to go over. The college football landscape has changed tremendously going into this season. We are expanding to a 12-team playoff, which I'm a fan of. I'm pro 12-team playoff. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think maybe 8 would be the sweet spot, but I'm pro expansion for sure.
No, I think the more, the better. I think 12 is a good number. Like, I don't know about too many more than that, but
yeah, weren't they already looking at going to 16?
I don't know. I just think, like, so the top teams usually separate themselves from the rest of the pack, but a lot of times, like, 2 through the number 2 ranked team through the number 10 ranked team are a lot closer than 1 is even to 2. So it's like when you get 12 of them in there, it's going to give you a lot more competitive games, especially these days where the bowl games, when they don't mean anything, the players are going to opt out to either transfer or for the NFL draft.
Yes.
So I think the more meaningful games you have in the postseason, the better that the college football product's going to be.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I know what they're doing for I don't know if it's every game. It can't be every game. There's going to be the main, like, Sugar Bowl. Like, those are going to stay the same, I think. And then the outlier games are going to be, like, home and away games.
Yeah, I think the first round will be home and away games. And then once you get into the second round, the semifinals, and the championship, it'll be bowl games.
Yeah.
With sponsors and stuff.
I kind of like the home and away games.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think that's going to be electric. So let's get into, like I said, the landscape has changed outside of just going to a 12-team playoff. I wrote down players I deemed most important that transferred, just as everybody to get a refresher. Like I said, you're going to see us kind of knock the cobwebs off here, not just in terms of the quality of the podcast, but also just getting a refresher with college football. I've said it time and time again. I put our college football knowledge up against just about anybody else is out there. But if you were listening to us around March Madness time, you would have heard me say that my wife and I had a baby, so I have some miles put on my brain. When I tell you, dude, that's the cool thing about this show is you've seen us grow over the years and you've seen our lives change. I used to never drink coffee ever. I cannot function for a second without coffee. And Starbucks has me hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm drinking whatever the fuck this is. This isn't even coffee. This is a melon drink. So they got me. They got me. I'm never going anywhere else. I'll never leave Starbucks. But I literally cannot function without caffeine. Having a baby is the hardest thing in the world. You said the other day, I was like, you don't know tired. And you're like, I'm tired all the time. You don't know fucking tired, dude. You don't know tired. Actually, the baby is currently running a fever right now, and it's the worst thing ever. Anyone who says that taking care of a baby is easy, I would, 1, want to punch you in your head, but 2, you've never taken care of a baby. It's the hardest thing in the world, dude. We could do a whole separate podcast. This whole entire episode could be about how hard it is to take care of a baby and how many times you question your life decisions. So,
yeah.
But we won't go down that road. All right. Transfers that I deemed the most important. I'm sure I'm going to miss some, so you can fill me in if you think any off the top of your head. Starting at quarterback, Cam Ward goes to Miami. from Wazoo to Miami. Riley Leonard goes from Duke to Notre Dame. Dylan Gabriel, who's actually the Heisman Trophy favorite at 7-1. Dylan Gabriel goes to Oregon to take over for Bo Nix. Will Howard leaves Kansas State and goes to Ohio State. Honorable mention, Diego Pavia goes to Vanderbilt.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Diego Pavia is going to play SEC football. Good fucking luck. Running back, probably the biggest, not even probably, the biggest. Quinshon Judkins goes to Ohio State to pair in the backfield with Travion Henderson. Damian Martinez goes to Miami to team up with Cam Ward. Damian Martinez was at Oregon State. He was one of the best running backs in the country with DJ Ugalele, who I did not add in. Actually, Ugalele went to Florida State also from Oregon State. So, yeah, I jumped the gun. Grayson McCall went from Coastal Carolina to NC State. Honorable mention again, Taylon Green goes from Boise State to Arkansas.
Yep.
That's going to be interesting. Trevor Etienne went from Florida, I believe, to Georgia. Travis Etienne's brother. Wide receiver, not a ton, but Evan Stewart went from A&M to Oregon. And then Isaiah Bond went from Alabama to Texas. Is there anybody that I'm not thinking of?
I don't know if you said it or not, but Raheem Rocket Sanders, went from Arkansas to South Carolina.
Okay. Oh, that reminds me. I don't know why that reminds me. Oh, Arkansas. KJ Jefferson went to UCF.
Yeah.
UCF might be a sneaky team to keep an eye on this year.
Yeah.
Why are you making that smart?
That was one that I was going to say before you said it.
Yeah, I mean, tough place to play, the bounce house, but it's still Malzahn there, right? Coaching?
Yep.
Like I said, I'm knocking the cobwebs off. That's a perfect quarterback for Gus Malzahn. Not the best thrower of the ball, but big, can run, will get hurt every game and limp a lot, but I think pretty good for that system. And they returned who was their running back? They had one running back that was a stud.
R.J. Harvey.
Yes. That dude's
and
good.
And then they got Toledo.
Yeah.
A running back from Toledo that also had like 1,400 rushing yards last year.
That's going to be a team to keep an eye on. So I don't know. We'll get into that. Outside of players, coaching changes. Obviously, the number one is Nick Saban's gone. Nick Saban's gone. To be quite honest, it seems like he's reminiscent on his time at LSU. Every time I see him do an interview, he's talking about how hard it is to play at Death Valley and this and that. Like, doesn't really seem like he cares about Alabama. Never should have left. But so Nick Saban's gone. Kalen DeBoer takes over. Was the head coach at Washington with Michael Penix Jr. He's now in Alabama, takes over there. Mike Elko leaves Duke, goes to take the job at Texas A&M. I like Mike Elko quite a bit. If you've listened to this show, I've liked Duke back since when they had Coach Cutcliffe. Mike Elko took over completely, not turned the program around, but took it to new heights, kept it trending in the right direction, but took it to a step up that they didn't even think they could get to. Mike Elko is a very good coach. I'm not saying A&M is going to be a great team this year. There might be some growing pains, but they've got a good one for sure. Sharon Moore is taking over at Michigan, which he was the interim head coach when Harbaugh got suspended, so not much in terms of switching things up there. Honorable mention, Jerry Kill retired. So Diego Pavia left for Vanderbilt. Jerry Kill said, I'm not going on without Diego Pavia. So probably the opposite of that. But Jerry Kill is no longer coaching in college football. So it was fun. I'll never forget the bowl game, New Mexico State. Diego Pavia lit it up. Anything else in terms of transfers and coaching changes that I did not think of?
The safety that left Alabama.
Caleb Downs. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Caleb Downs went to, which we're going to get to that. But Caleb Downs was the number one player in the transfer portal. He went to Ohio State to add to a loaded, not only just secondary, but overall defense and really just team. So, all right, how do we want to go about this first? Do we want to go win totals first? Do we want to go national championship winner? Do we want to go Heisman?
We can go win totals.
Okay. So, like I said, I don't have a ton, but I'm going to start in the ACC. I'm interested to see what you think. I very well could add one, but I'm going to start in the ACC. I'm going to go Florida State under 9.5 wins for -128. They're going to have a quality D-line again, and not a bad defense. They have a lot of talent, but they lost a ton of talent. You lost Jordan Travis. You lost Trey Benson, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Jaheim Bell, a lot of production on offense. I don't know who's going to be the guy in terms of wide receiver. It's a lot of turnover. It's DJ Ugalele, who I've been very vocal about, who he is. I do think Norvell's going to scheme up the offense for him, and he's a very good coach. I think they're going to be competitive. 9.5 wins, though. I don't see this team hitting 10 wins. I haven't been a DJU fan really from the beginning. Losable games, tough games. You've got on the road at SMU. You've got Clemson, on the road against Miami, on the road against Notre Dame, and they end the season with the rivalry game against Florida. So they can lose. Any of those games are losable. You got to lose 3 out of those 5, and we're under 10 wins. So they might get the 10th win in a bowl game, but that's not what we're talking here. So I'm going Florida State under 9.5. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for me, Florida, it's just a stay away. But, yeah, I think 9 is probably a reasonable amount of wins for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just lost so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it was you just don't lose that much production. And Jordan Travis completely turned himself into a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate. Unfortunately, broke his ankle or his foot, however it was. Dude, we've seen this time and time again with Ugalele. However you pronounce his last name.
Yeah, ukulele.
He just had a fantastic running back. He had really good not really good, but quality wide receivers, speedsters on the outside. You are probably going to have better coaching with Norvell. They may be able to scheme the offense around him a little better. But we've seen it time and time again. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, he's not a good quarterback. So he's not going to. They play some tough games, dude. You've got on the road against Miami and Notre Dame. SMU is going to be a quality team. That's not a cakewalk to go on the road and play SMU. Clemson, if I remember correctly, was that the game? Florida State barely beat Clemson last year, right? It was a day game.
Yeah.
I think we were both on Clemson.
It was like a miracle that they won.
Yeah,
kinda.
Because Clemson covered, and it was a great spot for
Yeah.
Clemson. We hit the nail on the head. So you go play Clemson again. I'm not saying Clemson's going to be a world beater. I don't know if Klubnik's the guy, but you probably should have lost to him last year. Now you got to play him again. Clemson could very well come back and get that one. And then Miami and Notre Dame. But then Florida at the end of the year, Florida's no cakewalk. That's a rivalry game. Florida's got a ton of talent. They have a numbskull for coach, but he might not be there by the end of the year. They might be reinvigorated because Billy Napier's on his ass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going under 9.5. I just don't see him hitting 10 wins.
Yeah, the offensive line is going to be good. They'll probably try to run the ball a lot more than last year. They still have the guy, Toa Feely, at running back.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got the transfer from Alabama, Roydell Williams. So, you can expect them to kind of lean on what they have, which is a good offensive line and good running backs. The big question, like you said, is replacing Travis.
Yeah, and
And
exactly.
then the receivers, and then a star running back, a star tight end.
Yeah. Good. Quality players all over the field. So, and exactly that. Yeah, they're going to want to run the ball. You don't want to have to rely. You want to run the ball, and you want to be able to put DJU in play action situations and make kind of condense the field, make things much simpler for him. He does have a big arm. They would love to get him in play action and throw something deep over the top. I understand, but when it's that intermediate stuff and you're playing good defenses that force you to beat him with your arm, I don't think he's going to be able to. I think Notre Dame's certainly that defense. Clemson's definitely going to be that defense. They're going to have a fantastic defensive line again. So it's going to be right around this number because I don't see them. I think Clemson very well can get them. I think Notre Dame will get them, and then Miami's going to have the talent to get them. Are they going to be – what Miami are you going to get? Are you going to get a Mario Cristobal special? I think this is a 9-3 team. So at -128, the odds tell you right there it's going to be close. It's not shaded heavily.
Yeah, I would definitely not think about betting over 9.5.
Yeah. So at -128, I'll take the under. I'll take the under for sure. Are we staying in the ACC for yours?
Yeah, we can go ahead and stay here.
All right, where are you going?
The first one I'm going to give out, I'm going to go Louisville under 8.5 wins, -150.
Okay.
I'm just not totally sold on like Tyler Shuck or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's correct.
And They kind of lost some guys there at the end of the spring in the transfer portal on defense, and then I don't know. 8.5 just seems like a bit lofty for them. They have to play SMU in Miami. Seems like 8.5 is too many.
Yeah, this is one that I was looking at. I like Jeff Brom, but I felt like Louisville massively overachieved last year.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked to see a little regression. You have a different quarterback, which Plummer was the guy last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They overachieved. I could see, like I said, I could see a little regression here. So I don't dislike that at all. I don't think it's too steep of a price either. So where do you want to go next?
NC State.
Okay.
This is a team that some people are high on. I'm one of them. I think Grayson McCall is a huge upgrade from Brennan Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line is going to be really good. They have 4 returning starters there. Skill positions are upgraded from a year ago, where they kind of struggled a little bit. I think the offense should be a balanced, solid offense. And then you look at the defensive side, which was a strength. It won't be as good, but you look for them to kind of fill and replace and under the leadership of their defensive coordinator, Tony Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, the big thing's McCall. It's like McCall's first 2 years at Coastal Carolina under Jamie Chadwell were really good, and the coaching change, and he kind of had to deal with some injuries and had a somewhat bad couple years. Mm-hmm. Not bad, but like not what he was like a magician.
Yeah.
His first 2 seasons, but I think you kind of see him return to that form. NC State over 8.5 wins minus 134. They're tough games. They have a tough game week 1 against Tennessee. Tennessee's 4.5-point favorites. And then they have to play against Clemson on the road. So other than that, the schedule is manageable.
Okay.
I think 8.5 wins over.
Yeah, I'll take that as well. Justin, are you on any over-under win totals?
Yeah, I got 3 of them.
Okay. Give me your first one. Or do you have any in the ACC?
No.
Okay. What's your first one? And talk more into the mic.
All right. First one's going to be in the Big 12.
Okay.
I got Oklahoma State over 8 wins at minus 140.
Huh.
They're coming off a 10-4 season with a big loss to Texas in the Big 12 championship last year. I mean, they got 10 wins last year, even with a loss to South Alabama, UCF, and Iowa State. Their quarterback, Alan Bowman, definitely wasn't great last year, throwing 14 interceptions, but it's a lot easier to be better the following year when you have the best running back in this country returning, and you're also returning your top 2 receivers. And altogether, they have 21 of their 22 starters coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they have – this was an interesting one. I was looking at this one. I couldn't pull the trigger either way. They do have like you said, almost everybody's back. Ollie Gordon's back. If he can stop drinking and driving, he's going to be a problem for sure. Mike Gundy drank and drove 1,000 times apparently, so I don't understand how Gundy's not in jail. But yeah, I feel like Bowman's been the quarterback since I was in high school. He's been not of. He's been in the. I think he's been.
He's 24 years old.
Yeah, he's a 7th-year guy,
Yeah.
I think. So he's been in college football since like 2018. Yeah, I mean, there's experience all over the place.
Yeah, I think Bowman's good. I don't think he's great, but I think he's good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think Oklahoma State's offense is going to be
I
really
think
good because the line's going to be good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Ollie
And then
Gordon's good
Ollie
enough.
Gordon's obviously a beast. It's the defense.
Yeah.
They sucked.
Yeah. No, but they do return. I mean, having that continuity and that just returning production does certainly play a factor. I do think Gundy's a good coach. I think he's one of those. He's like a better Dana Holgerson. He reminds me of Dana Holgerson.
He just looks like him.
Yeah. But
He's a way better version.
no, I know, but yeah, they look similar, hairstyle similar. Gundy's got a little more up top than Holgerson did. He was holding on to it forever with that visor. But 8.5, are they going to hit 9 wins? It was just tough for me. I did look at it. Obviously, we know who Ollie Gordon is. When you see a team returning that much production, especially in the Big 12 too, where everybody's pretty close. Nobody is nobody is like a clear-cut best team in the Big 12, I think. So
you don't have Oklahoma and Texas in there anymore.
Yeah. You lose two of the big ones. Oklahoma and Texas go to the SEC. I say nobody's the clear-cut favorite. Obviously, Utah would be considered the favorite, but it's not like you get what I'm saying? Like they're pretty. It seems pretty close in terms of skill level, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like throughout the whole pack. Yeah,
I think Utah.
Out there on an island
I think Utah should be the clear favorite.
Yes, but I'm just saying, like the discrepancy,
but
like the
from
Big Ten,
there
the Big Ten, the
below-
Ohio State's here, and then the next team's here. Whereas it's Utah, Kansas State, like they're staggered much more closely, in my opinion. So
Yeah, I like Kansas State. And if you look at the odds, they're pretty close to win the conference along with Utah. But yeah, I think those two teams are probably. Kansas State obviously has a lot of hype because of Avery Johnson, but Utah's the clear front runner there, and then I think everybody else is just a step below them, and then it can be whatever, like to even see who's going to be in the conference championship.
Yeah. So let's talk about Kansas State. Where do you 9.5 on the win total? I haven't taken it yet, but I lean under. I know you like him. You were higher on Avery Johnson. You were, I guess, on that boat quicker than I was. But is he winning 10 games in his first year as a starter? It's not that I don't think he's going to be good. We haven't really seen it from him yet. At least with his arm.
He's the reason that Will Howard had to leave.
Which is notable for sure, that the starting quarterback for Ohio State wasn't going to be the starting quarterback at Kansas State.
Yeah, so I mean, there's super high expectations. He's obviously super talented. We saw him a little bit last year. He looked pretty good when he played. They got the Colorado transfer Dylan Edwards at running back to kind of fill that Deuce Vaughn role. That
similar build, and I think he was at Notre Dame before Colorado, so he was a highly touted prospect for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you go down the list, they play UT Martin, win. Tulane on the road. Tulane played them tough in years past, but this is a much, much different Tulane team. Coach is gone. Pratt's gone. Everybody's pretty much gone from Tulane. So probably win there. Arizona's a tough one. It's at home. They are 7.5-point favorites, but Arizona's no slouch. I think Fafita's back, right? Oh, wait, no. Fafita's at who was at UNLV? That was Mayava. So Fafita is Arizona.
Yeah.
Similar players, similar names. But yeah, so he's back. Arizona was good last year.
Yeah.
BYU is going to be a win. Oklahoma State, they're 5.5-point favorites over Oklahoma State at home. I don't know. That seems a little steep. You've got Colorado. They're 6.5-point favorites on the road. They'll win by 40. So that's another win. We need 3 losses. Oklahoma State's a possible loss. You got to go on the road to West Virginia after going on the road to Colorado. So that's a spot there. You got Kansas at home. They're under a touchdown favorite there. Probably going to be a win, though. Houston's a win. Arizona State's a win. Cincinnati and Iowa State's going to be tough. They might get 10 wins. Now that I look at it. This is why I didn't take it.
Yeah, they don't have
their schedule's fucking easy.
Yeah, they don't have to play Utah.
Yeah. Their schedule's easy.
UCF, which is another player we mentioned earlier in that conference, but
Kansas State over 9.5 wins might be the lock.
Yeah, it's Oklahoma State at home. It is their toughest game.
Yeah, no,
in my opinion.
I don't think Colorado's going to be very good. I was very down on them last year. They burned me week 1. I had them under 3.5 wins. They won 4 games and they upset TCU as a 20-point underdog on the first game of the year. But you get Colorado. That's the spot right there, I would say, is going from Colorado on the road to West Virginia, which is a tough place to play. So if they lose the Oklahoma State game, which they're not expected to by the books, but that's not going to be an easy game. That's a trappish looking spot with West Virginia. That could be 2 losses. And then the toughest game from there is clearly Iowa State at the end of the year. Cincinnati, Arizona State, Houston, those are all wins. So it's too dicey for me. It's a little too tight off.
Yeah, I don't want to get like overly invested. I don't want to give away my hand, but I bet Kansas State to win the conference at 4-1.
You just gave your hand.
I know I'm not giving that all away.
All right. Okay. So, what is your next one then?
Where were we? Did I finish the ACC?
Last one you did was NC State.
Yeah, I bet them to win the conference. I should have mentioned that when I talked about the team, but 7-1, I'm gonna bet them to win the conference. Feel like I'm kind of overlooking Clemson a little bit here.
Klubnik just had all that hype. He's got that style of play that makes you think he's going to be good. And then he goes out there and you're like, this kid kind of fucking sucks. So they're going to have an incredible defensive line again, though. Dabo Swinney, I think, is beginning to finally figure out what the transfer portal is and maybe stop realizing that Jesus is not going to recruit you players. So you need to go out there and pay him the big bucks.
It's
Dabo.
up to Klubnik again.
Yeah.
But yeah, they lost Shipley, but they still have Phil Maffa, who's a stud in my opinion. Receivers, there weren't really any good ones last year. You can only
they got somebody
optimism that they'll be better.
Yeah, they got somebody that's supposed to be a guy. I'm blanking on his name. Yes, they're expecting the receiver room to be better than what it was. So I think they returned somebody that got hurt early in the year too. I should be a little more prepared than I am. So that's on me. Like I said.
But then defensively, they lost 5 players to the draft.
Yeah. They reload.
Yeah,
though.
they
reload. I'm telling you, I have looked into the defense. The defensive line is supposed to be sick again. So they say it every single year, every year. I mean, you got like the Saints draft Brzee.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, where the fuck did he come from? I think they got what's his name, Woods. I think he's number 11, like Brzee was. He's supposed to be a stud. So they've got multiple guys on the D line. They're going to give some teams in the ACC some problem. What is let me see, what is their win total sitting at? 8.5, heavily shaded to the over. I say heavily, -172 to the over. All right, so where are you going next then? You want to go to Justin or you want to do yours?
I don't have any more for the ACC. I mean, I have a little bit written down about Miami just because.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that because, I mean, I it's no secret. I buy into the hype. And, I mean, I see Cam Ward going down there. I mean, you got a Miami helmet right there.
Yeah.
So that's a sign. I see Cam Ward and Damian Martinez going down there. Restrepo's back. They have talent. They have guys for sure. You've also got Mario Cristobal calling the shots, making decisions, not kneeling on the ball. Everyone's saying, hey, coach, we don't have to run a single play. And he said, let's run it. Let's run it. And they fumble and lose the game. Is the talent good enough to overmatch a dipshit at head coach? That's the question. We saw Cam Ward light it up in spots last year, and then we saw Cam Ward kind of fade in certain spots. If I remember, he lit it up in the Apple Cup, I think. I could be wrong about that. When they played the rivalry game at the end of the year, didn't he? I know there were certain spots where he looked like he could be a Heisman Trophy contender, and then there were certain spots where it was like, okay, what happened?
Yeah.
He's going to have much more talent around him this year. Is Miami worth the hype?
I don't know. Yeah, it's like you said. It's going to come down to coaching. I mean, you look at when Cristobal was at Oregon, he really didn't get the most out of Justin Fields. And then, yeah, like last year, it's like, okay, this coach might be a bit of a dipshit or an idiot.
You're saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Justin Fields is a different guy than Justin Herbert. But yeah, that's a big question. Is the coaching staff even gonna be able to get these guys to get the most out of the talent that they have?
Yeah, and they got a lot of it. So,
I mean, they got to play Florida week 1. It's like if you lose and it's at Florida,
there's 60-1 odds to win the fucking national championship. God damn.
It's like if you lose,
this can't be right. This can't be right. Utah's 60-1. What's going on? National championship. Georgia's plus 280. How is Utah 60-1?
Yeah, it's the SEC and the Big Ten, and then no one else.
How?
They have Missouri at 40-1.
Yeah. God damn.
I'm taking Kansas State.
80-1. What is going on with the 12-team playoff? Just got to get there. Then you can just hedge.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing with the Big 12. It's like, there could be a 3-4 loss team
winning the conference. Yeah, and getting in. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. But yeah, so I cut you off when I saw that. Yes or no, is Miami worth the hype? Is there even hype? Is it just me?
No, there's definitely hype.
Could just be me.
I'm like unwilling to buy into it.
Cam Ward was the number one name I wrote on my. Damian Martinez was the second.
Yeah.
So I do like Restrepo quite a bit too. Restrepo's the real deal. So they have a lot of guys, but yeah, is Cristobal going to get the just kind of get them together? He hasn't really shown a tendency to be able to do so. But all right, Justin, what is your second win total?
I'm going to the SEC.
Okay.
I got Arkansas under 4.5 wins at -105.
Damn. So you got Taylon Green struggling?
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about it earlier. Days of KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders are over as both of them transferred out. They're only returning 9 starters total and only 4 on the offense, plus losing their top 2 weapons. They ranked 105th overall in the country on offensive production last year. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, they did just get Taylon Green from Boise, but I don't see him and Bobby Petrino being the saving grace over there. So I expect Josh Box and the Hogs to have another stressful year, and I only see them getting 3 wins.
Okay, let's pull up their schedule because, it's one of those. If you've listened to us in the past, you know how I feel about Boise State. There's a helmet right there on the table. Actually, Boise State for a while there was dead to me, and we're not really all the way back in the good graces. But when Bachmeier left, I kind of went with him. But on another note, Brian Harsin never should have left Boise State. Tremendously bad decision. Taylon Green is electric with his feet, leaves a lot to be desired with his arm. Is he going to be as electric with his feet in the SEC? You'd have to imagine probably not, where everybody's faster and stronger and much better than the Mountain West. I can't find their motherfucking schedule to save my life. I'll tell you that. Yeah,
Justin's right. We should take Arkansas under.
Let's see.
They got 2 wins on this schedule.
Arkansas Pine Bluff
Maybe
is
3.
1. They're starting off 1. They're starting off 1-0 for sure. Oklahoma State on the road, got to be a loss. UAB at home very well could be a win. Auburn on the road, you would assume a loss. Texas A&M on the road, loss. Tennessee at home after a 2-game road stretch, loss. LSU, loss. Mississippi State. Who's the quarterback at Mississippi State now?
Yeah, Will Howard transferred out.
No. Will Rogers. Yeah, Will Rogers left. Somebody took over. Didn't Lebby went to Mississippi State from Oklahoma. He brought somebody with him. I can't remember who. Toss-up game. Ole Miss lost. Texas lost. Louisiana Tech probably a win. Missouri lost. What are they setting at, 4.5?
Yeah.
It is 4.5?
Yeah.
And what's the odds on the under?
At -105.
It's close. Yeah, no, it's close. You would imagine Louisiana Tech probably a win. Mississippi State will put as a maybe because I don't even know who the fuck's playing quarterback. So you've got 1 and a maybe. UAB probably a win, so 2 and a maybe. Arkansas Pine Bluff, 3 and a maybe. Is it 4.5?
Yeah, 4.5.
Who's their next win? Yeah,
I'll even give them a Mississippi State win. And
yeah, so if we're you're looking at 4 wins there.
It's gonna have to be Auburn to get the 5.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I mean,
They got to go to Jordan Hare. Justin, you might have found yourself a good bet here. Yeah, you'd imagine they're not going to beat Mizzou, not going to beat Texas, not going to beat Ole Miss, although there's a rumor floating around that Jackson Dart tore his ACL. Not going to beat LSU, even though that would be the fucking one. Not going to beat Tennessee, you wouldn't think, although we do have to talk about the quarterback, Ayamaliva, however you pronounce it. I'm tired of these motherfuckers from Hawaii with these names, dude. A&M, you would imagine a loss. They're 10.5-point underdogs. Yeah, it's got to be Auburn's going to be their best bet. Auburn or Tennessee, because they get Tennessee at home.
Yeah, Tennessee's in a dog walk 'em.
You think?
Yeah.
You're a believer?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm a believer in this kid too. I remember watching him in the bowl game. Didn't really show you very much with the arm, but we'll get to that. We'll talk Heisman Trophy odds there. Yeah, I'll take it too, Justin. I'm going to take it with you. Arkansas under 4.5 wins. Yeah. Now that you say it too, this is probably going to be the last we see of who's it? Sam Pittman.
Yeah.
Under 4.5 is minus 105. Yeah. I like that quite a bit. How does Josh feel about the outlook of the team?
He's been quiet, so not good.
It would almost be a shame for me not to do it because I've been so vocal about Taylor Green's inability to throw the ball. He is electric with the feet, though. He could give people some problems if they scheme him up the right way. Bobby Petrino. It's a little – we could be falling into a trap, but you can pretty much do that with any bet at this point. And you can talk yourself off the ledge with any bet at this point in the season. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty good one, Justin. I like that one. What do you have left? How many win totals?
Oh shit. We didn't talk about Utah yet.
No.
Big 12, yeah. I'm gonna take Utah over 9.5 wins, minus 144.
Okay. This was another one I was looking at as well. I was looking at Kansas State under, which I think we established not going to do that. In a conference with that's pretty tight knit in terms of talent level, I guess, like the Big 12, I guess, like we were talking about, is that probably the number one conference, maybe the ACC, that of the Power Four, that now that the Pac-12 is dead, of least separation. I do think it's going to play a pretty big role having Cam Rising come back. It's a very tough place to play when you go on the road. They got Southern Utah, Baylor. That's a win-win. Utah State's head coach is getting into some shady shit. That's a win. Oklahoma State will be a tough one. They're nearly 10-point favorites against Arizona. Should be a win. Arizona State should be a win. TCU should be a win. Houston's a win. BYU's a win. Colorado's a win. Iowa State should be a win. UCF will be tough. So just because I'm a little high on UCF, but realistically it should be a win.
Yeah, the three toughest games are at Oklahoma State, at UCF, and then I guess you could say at Colorado would be the third toughest.
Yeah, and I don't think that's tough at all. So it's 9.5 or 10.5?
9.5.
Yeah, I'll take that as well. Over 9.5 for Utah. How many more do you have?
I mean, I guess we can just go to the Big Ten.
Okay. Justin, what conference is your final win total in?
SEC.
Okay. Go to the Big Ten first.
Ohio State.
Okay.
Plus 155 to win the conference. Win total sitting at 10.5. It's shaded to the over, minus 150. I'm going to take Ohio State over 10.5 wins, minus 150.
Me as well.
Just to start, you mentioned it earlier, Will Howard transfer. We talk about Avery Johnson, but Will Howard was still a good player. Not elite, but I think he'll look closer to elite in the Ohio State offense because how much talent they have. Maybe the best running back duo ever, definitely in some time, with Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Damn names, bro.
That one ain't that hard.
Why can't it just be something simple like Smith?
They got a Smith, and he's fucking good.
Yeah, go talk about him.
They got Jeremiah Smith. So, okay, since we're talking about Ohio State, I bet Ohio State to win the national championship at plus 420. So, yeah, I'm on over win total. I'm very bullish on Ohio State this year. Plus 420 to win the national championship. I'll just go down my whole breakdown. It's going to have something similar to yours. We'll start with the team itself, returning a ton of production, a pairing that, like you said, the running back combination. Travion Henderson's one of the best running backs in the country. He's been at Ohio State for quite some time. You add arguably the best running back in the country It's either Quinshon Judkins or Ollie Gordon, in my opinion. I would probably lean Judkins if you play.
He's the most talented for sure.
Yes. If you play EA College Football 25, you know Quinshon Judkins is the best quarterback in the country. I mean, running back in the country. Could play quarterback too. He can do whatever you need. That pairing there. Then there's another pairing on the defensive line. That's going to be the trending thing here, pairings. The defensive line, you return Sawyer and you return JTT, two NFL caliber defensive ends. Both decided to come back. Both said that they lost to Michigan, so they had unfinished business. This is going to be their chance to go basically run the table and go win a national championship. Speaking of pairings, I would question either one of y'all to tell me a better coordinator combination than Jim Knowles on the defensive side and Chip Kelly on the offensive side. Chip Kelly's one of the better offensive minds in college football, I would say. He was a head coach at UCLA, as we all know. Now he doesn't have to worry about any of the head coaching duties. He just has to worry about drawing up plays for the best players in the country. So he gets to do what he probably has always only wanted to do all along.
Yeah, he wasn't fired. He just left.
I believe so, yeah. I think it was a little rocky there. It was getting a little dicey, but who knows? Maybe they showed him the door and he took it and kept some dignity on the way out. But
the new coach can't even fucking talk.
That was a wild.
Who shows up to the press conference with nothing to say?
Yeah, he's like, he said, we're on the West Coast with USC over there in California. Like, that was basically it. Like, we're over there. Like, he gave him, like, a geography lesson. And he's like, we just are ready to play football. I was like, yeah, no shit, we all are.
Yeah, he got up there. He said, oh, shit, I didn't prepare.
Yeah, he pulled a Joe Biden. He's like, all right, I got to speak to everybody today.
Well, where's the school at?
Yeah.
Let me tell him that.
It's typically sunny there, 75. Yeah, no, he had no preparation for that press conference at all. I really think that bringing in Chip Kelly is not really being talked about enough. I think one of the better offensive minds, obviously he got a head coaching gig in Philly in the NFL. He was known for kind of not necessarily revolutionizing offense, but he was one of those guys. He was like kind of like what the Shanahans are now. Or the McVays, like that was kind of Chip Kelly before them. He was a new age offense, which is outdated a little bit now, but you bring him into Ohio State where you have nothing but weapons, an incredible running back duo. You've got Egbuka on the outside, but then you've got Jeremiah Smith, the true freshman, the #1 overall recruit for his class. And he looks like he's going to be absolutely incredible. I don't know if y'all watched the spring game. I tried to brush up on as many spring games as I could. He didn't really make a ton of plays, but it was kind of because of poorly thrown balls by Will Howard, which I guess you could say is worrisome, but that's a very good defense that he's going up against. Jeremiah Smith's going to be an incredible player from day one as a true freshman. The biggest question mark on the offensive side of the ball is going to be Will Howard. Is he able to be good enough to get this team to where they need to go? I think he's better than Kyle McCord without question. I don't know that he's head and shoulders, light years better than Kyle McCord, but he's better enough to get this team to the national championship and a win. Defensively, like I said about the defensive ends, the D-line's going to be stacked, but then you have a secondary that just the fact that they returned Denzel Burke was going to be a huge plus. But then the fact that, and they returned the corner on the opposite side of the field, but then you bring in the #1 overall recruit, Caleb Downs, in the transfer portal from Alabama. He had over 100 tackles as a true freshman. This team, top to bottom, there's no excuse. If they don't win at all, Ryan Day should be fired. I understand. Look, I know what they have at Georgia with Carson Beck. I'm not a Carson Beck believer. If you look at his eyes, he's got dead eyes. He's got dead eyes. That guy's not going to win a national championship. It's Ohio State or nothing. You're giving me plus 420 odds on the Buckeyes for a team that has essentially a cakewalk schedule. It's 10.5 on the win total or 11.5?
10.5.
10.5 on the win total. You got to play Penn State, I think, on the road. Let's see, I got it right here. Yeah. Penn State on the road is going to be your toughest game other than Oregon on the road. So other than that, Akron, first game of the year, they're favored by over 50 points. So win there. Western Michigan's a win. Marshall's a win. Michigan State should be a win. Iowa, they're 23.5-point favorites at home. That's a win there. They're going to be 5-0 going into Oregon. It's going to be a very good game. Oregon got that Phil Knight money so they could go get whatever recruit they wanted. Dylan Gabriel is one of those. I was kind of ahead of the curve. I was betting Dylan Gabriel to win the Heisman Trophy when he went to Oklahoma that first year. I don't know that we've really – he was surrounded by talent there too. He's got more talent at Oregon, but has Dylan Gabriel really shown us anything that leads us to believe that he's going to have a better season in this offense than Bo Nix did?
I think he is.
Okay, I'm not saying – okay, Bo Nix had a pretty fucking good year statistically.
Yeah. But he sucked before.
He did. I understand.
So you take Gabriel and you're like, all right, make him.
But remember what we.
Bo Nix times
my
better.
God, I'm getting a motherfucking Charlie horse. I am not in midseason form. In the Red River Shootout, Dylan Gabriel beat, and I understand you can add that into the offense, but he didn't beat him with his arm. He beat him with his legs.
Yeah.
So I felt like there were a lot of times along the way that Dylan Gabriel left a lot to be desired. I think he's a much better thrower of the football than Bo Nix. This is by no means propping up Bo Nix. Maybe I guess you could look at it the opposite way of what I'm trying to argue, and you could say that if shitbag Bo Nix could go do that in that offense, Dylan Gabriel might throw for fucking 150 touchdowns. That's going to be your toughest game, that and Penn State. Nebraska, which that Raiola kid, I might be a believer. They're 25.5-point favorites, so against Nebraska. Purdue, that's your two games right there. Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon. Michigan, I'm not a believer. A lot of people are trying to say Michigan's not going to be as down as everybody or some people are speculating. I don't think Michigan's going to be very good. I don't know that Orgy's going to be able to really throw the ball very well. I think they're going to be able to stop him running the ball. I know Dylan Edwards is electric and had a great national championship and all of that. I don't know that he's a workhorse kind of guy. I expect a down year from Michigan for sure. I have Ohio State winning this national championship. I think this is the year for them. I think Jim Knowles is one of the better defensive coordinators. His first year when he came from Oklahoma State, I was talking about him. It typically takes you a couple years to kind of get your fingerprints on the scheme you're trying to do and this and that. I think we're going to see a really, really good Ohio State defense. And then when you look at the schedule, they're a guarantee they're going to be in the college football playoff. So at the end of the day, yes, we want them to hit the win total. I want them to hit the national championship. So they're the favorite over Georgia to make the college football playoff. So that just shows you right there. They obviously the SEC, it's anybody. The talent is much more prevalent in the SEC. So that's why Georgia is not the favorite to get to the college football playoff. They're the favorite to win the championship. But Ohio State will be there. So barring injury or things like that. But, I mean, obviously we don't plan for that. So, yeah, I'm taking Ohio State plus 420. I'll take Ohio State over 10.5 wins. And you're taking them to win the conference plus, what'd you say, 150?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, yeah, 155 plus 155.
Okay. Justin, what is your final SEC win total?
It's one that I'm sure that y'all both have. It's LSU.
Okay.
Did y'all want to break that one down? Y'all have it?
Just tell us which side you're going first.
LSU over 9 wins.
Okay. I am a little worried about that, if I'm being honest with you. What are your thoughts on we've talked about this a little off air. Is the defense going to be that improved? You got, who was it, Matt Baker from Mizzou?
Yeah.
Highest paid coordinator in the country, $1.7 million, I think. Very good defensive coordinator. He's a Louisiana guy. You would hope that they're going to use Harold Perkins correctly. But the way I look at it, at least, is, and you were kind of singing Nuss's praises before most.
Since I watched him throw 3 interceptions freshman year in the spring game.
Yeah, you said, God damn, that kid can throw the ball good.
I said, damn it, he wants to throw it.
Yeah, no, you were.
I watched so many LSU quarterbacks just afraid to throw it. It's like anytime I see a quarterback just dropping back and slinging it, I'm like, oh, yeah, there's our guy.
Yeah, no, he's not afraid to throw the ball. He's got the gunslinger mentality for sure. And, yeah, I'm with you. You can't be afraid to take chances. You have to be willing to throw the ball and let your guys go up and make a play. So, yeah, to your credit, you were calling for Nussmeier, so much so that you said you would bench the Heisman Trophy winner, Jaden Daniels, to play.
Yeah, I was pissed when we got Daniels.
To play Nussmeier.
I wanted Nussmeier in there, like –
Jaden Daniels made you a ton of money.
I was wanting him in there to replace Max Johnson,
Yes.
And then
yes.
Max Johnson left when Brian Kelly got the job, and they're like, we're getting Jaden Daniels from Arizona State. I said,
Yep.
son of a bitch.
And then he cashed an 18-1 Heisman Trophy odds ticket for us. So my biggest thing here is like, you would imagine the offense isn't going to be better. I'm not saying it's going to take a huge drop, like a huge step back or anything like that, but the offense was so good. You can't really,
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, so you can only,
there's no way it's going to be.
You can only go in one direction. How big of a leap? Same thing. You can only go in one direction with the offense, which is down. You can only go in one direction with the defense, which is up. The defense was so fucking horrifically bad that they can only be better. But how much better are we talking? We still have a lot of the same guys. Major Burns is going to be back there with his neck roll, thinking he's playing outside linebacker, and he's going to be playing, which they might even be moving him closer to the line of scrimmage. I think I might have saw. They're moving Sage Ryan back to safety, I believe, not at outside corner. Do we think the defense is going to make this much of a jump to counteract the offense inevitably taking a step back? And it could be a small step back. If Nussmeier, I've heard nothing but good things. I think we've done this long enough now that we can look at a guy and we've kind of proven our track record, like you said with Burrow from day one. I think our track record kind of speaks for itself that you can diagnose when a guy's good. We have to see it, I guess, a little bit more, but Nussmeier has all the tools. He has all the intangibles and what you're looking for to be able to go out and win games. But yeah, is the defense going to be able to counteract the inevitable step back from the offense? Yeah,
the offense, like our yards per play and total yards, number one every offensive statistic.
Yeah,
it's like we're not going to be number one again.
No,
just because of when you lose Daniel, you lose Neighbors and Brian Thomas. It's like those were 3 first-round draft picks.
It's similar to losing Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
So not as good, little step back, but not really. Like, you got a Heisman Trophy winner, you got 2 first-round wide receivers.
Yeah, the only thing is you got Nussmeier, second coming of Brett Favre.
Or Miles Brennan, some are saying.
No. No way, dude. I'm telling you.
So the question is, though, is Kyron Lacy going to take that step forward? Is the guy...
He's not as good as the other guys.
No, clearly not. And then we got the guy from Liberty,
yeah.
C.J. Daniels.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Chris Hilton. You got guys.
Yeah, there's definitely depth at receiver. It's just like you don't have the superstar playmakers like we had before. And then you look at what Jaden Daniels was able to do running the football. It's like all of a sudden, not only do you have to replace his passing ability, which I think we will, it's the big question is how do you replace the yards he gained from using his legs?
Yeah, when he back-to-back takes it 75 yards down the left sideline against Florida.
And it's going to have to be by running the ball with the running backs.
Emery's back. He passed his fucking spelling test. We'll see how long he's back for.
Yeah, and then Josh Williams. We have running backs that are decent. It's going to be up to...
We don't have a heavy hitter.
It's going to be up to the offensive line is super good as well.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be up to the scheming running plays, too, because we didn't really have to do too much running with the running backs last year. So it's just going to change the direction that the offense has to go in to produce rushing yards.
Yeah.
But Caleb Jackson is a beast. They said he gained like 30 pounds.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, they did his side-by-side transformation.
So that's huge because he's probably going to have to be the bell cow for us.
Mm-hmm. You still got Mason Taylor at tight end. So the offense is not going to be bad. Like, I hope that's not the what I'm sounding like. I don't think the offense is going to be bad. I think it's just inevitable with how good it was. It is going to take a step back. The defense was so horrifically bad, you would expect it to take a step up when you go get Baker. We got rid of Matt House. He's at a fucking probably Waffle House somewhere. You would expect the defense is going to be better. It's just how much better. Are they really going to be able to hash out a lot of those issues in the secondary in a short amount of time?
Yeah, it was really, but pass rush was the other issue. It's like not only did we not have the guys to cover, we didn't produce a pass rush. It's like
and we didn't really do much in the fucking transfer portal to go
No, yeah, we lost Mekhi Wingo. We lost Mason Smith. We did nothing to replace defensive tackle position. So it's like,
yeah, we swung and missed on multiple different guys. I remember there was one guy, I think the guy from TCU, we were trying to get, and he went to Oklahoma. So,
yeah,
because we don't want to go pay people, Gordon McKernan, roll out the fucking checks, get it done, get Gordon to go fucking pay these guys to come play. I don't know what the holdup is. Phil Knight's over there, fucking giving Oregon a blank check and saying, go get everybody. I'm about to die. I want to see a championship. So where are you at, Gordon? Where's fucking Raising Cane's guy? Shaq. We need motherfuckers to throw some money up. So, yeah, what's the win total? Say it again, sorry.
I had it at 9 at minus 140.
Which way would you lead there? Over 9, minus 140? So they got us getting to 10 wins, 10-2.
I think it's tough just because there's a lot of uncertainty, especially in the defense. It's like in the spring, they didn't look any better.
No, that's why I'm optimistic. I want them to be good as a fan, but I don't. And we're believers in Nussmeier, but I just don't. I have to see it from that defense before I can take it, I guess.
The only good thing is the schedule starts off kind of easy in the first 5 weeks, and then we have to. The first tough game is.
We can't sleepwalk on USC though. Miller Moss.
Yeah, I mean that would be terrible if we lost the first game again.
It would give me flashbacks of UCLA.
We have a lot of big games at home.
We haven't won the first game in like
Bama's coming
3 years, I think.
Yeah, but granted, the Florida State back-to-back, and then I think it was UCLA before that.
Yep.
Yeah, UCLA ran it down our motherfucking throat. So, it just has. It's one of, and that's probably recency bias because exactly that we've lost the first one, the last 3 games. We should have won the last, not the last one, but we looked like we were capable of winning, and then all of a sudden we weren't. The one before that, we should have at least. I mean, if Neighbors can fucking field a punt, and then if Mason Taylor can block the guy coming around the edge. So I guess it's because I've seen us lose so many times in the last few years to open the season. We should beat USC. You don't lose that much. You don't lose Caleb Williams and then you come back and feel great about your season next year. But Miller Moss did not look bad in the bowl game. They still have got Zach Branch. They're going to have talent on the outside. They're going to be able to. Let's put it this way. I don't know what the over is, but this might be a blind bet over. It might be a blind bet over for this USC team that is going to have weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got, who's it? Fucking Lincoln Riley. So, I thought Miller Moss looked good in the bowl game. So, okay. Yeah, we'll, so yeah, what would you're not touching that?
No.
Yeah, I'm not touching it either. So, Justin.
I mean, we only got to 9 wins last year.
Yeah, we got the 10 in the bowl game, and that's what it kept Brian Kelly's streak alive. But go back up real quick. Go back to the top. So let's just call USC a win. Should be a win. 1-0. Nichols 2-0. South Carolina. No idea who the quarterback is. Should be 3-0. UCLA should be 4-0. South Alabama 5-0. Ole Miss is going to be tough. Ole Miss is going to be tough. Ole Miss has a lot of hype around them this year. They're feeling very good about their chances. Jackson Dart's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the country. We'll call that a loss. What's that? 5-1. Arkansas 6-1. A&M. We should beat A&M. I'm a little down on A&M. Like I said, I think Mike Elko's a very good coach, but I don't know that year one, how good are they going to be? I think they got a lot of stuff that they're going to have to hash out. So I think in the coming years, Texas A&M is going to be a contender, I would imagine. So what's that? 7-1?
Yeah.
Maybe 8-1, 7-1, whatever. LSU, Bama. I think we're favored in this in the early look ahead. At home. So, I mean, that's going to be a tight one, though. That very well could be a loss. Florida should be a win. Vanderbilt should be a win. Oklahoma is going to be tough. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be right around it. I just don't feel confident enough to do it with how the defense has been. I got to see the defense look better. I can't do it until further notice. So you're going over 9, Justin?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's your final win total?
Yeah, that's my last one.
Okay, what else do you have?
I mean, I guess we can talk about the SEC a little bit. We just broke down our home team. I mean, Georgia's a favorite.
Yeah, to win the conference, you're saying?
Yeah, and
Well, you said we're talking about the SEC, so you're just talking overall, like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any win totals for them. Although I was on them to go over 11.5 last year, and they won all 12 games. And Joseph bet under.
Yes.
That's why we fired his ass.
Yeah, that's why Joseph scuba diving with the fishes. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be good again, obviously. It's Georgia, but is Carson back that good? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think he's that good. I mean, it's going to be hard. You don't have Bowers now. You don't have McClunky.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have some.
ETN's going to be a stud, though.
Yeah.
ETN's going to be a fucking stud.
And then the defense is going to wreak havoc.
Yeah, like always. Yeah. Yeah. They'll lose to Ohio State in the national championship. It'll be a great game. It's going to be a fantastic game. Bookmark this right now. Ohio State will beat Georgia by 10 points in the national championship. 10 points. Caleb Downs will get the interception to seal the game. Is that all you got for the SEC? You just said Georgia's the favorite to win the national championship.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really talk about it that much.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, I think they're overhyped.
Yeah, I feel like they consistently are.
Yeah.
So, okay, Florida. Does Billy Napier get fired this year?
I think he's just in a tough position.
Well, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
He puts players on the field wearing the same number.
Mertz.
Yeah.
Could be Mertz's time to shine.
Fuck Graham Mertz. I'll never forget it. Didn't he break his shit last year too?
I don't know.
Didn't he break his ankle? Google that for me real quick. Do Graham Mertz injury. I thought he broke his ankle. I thought it was like a Jordan Travis thing. I'm pretty certain. This is way more convenient now.
He fractured his collarbone last
That's
year.
what it was. Okay. I knew he broke something. Yeah, he'll never be the same. So, Florida's going to have a ton of talent, don't get me wrong. But
yeah, they have a good receiver, huh?
I don't know. They lost Pearsall.
I forget his name. But he was the number 2 receiver behind the guy from Ohio State, I think.
Oh, really? Jeremiah's in the incoming class, you're saying? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Do we want to talk Heisman Trophy odds?
Yeah.
Do you have any that you're doing?
Yeah, I already bet one.
Who?
Avery Johnson.
Oh, did you? What are the odds?
Let me see what they are now, because I'm pretty sure the odds came down.
I see it at plus 2,500 right now.
Okay. What do you see Nico Liameva at?
1,500. He was my.
That's who I'm on. I want to say I got 16, but he's going to be electric. He was great in the bowl game. Didn't show you a ton with his arm, but with his feet. And there's a lot of hype around this dude. A lot of hype. So, Tennessee quarterback. Pull it up for me. My shit died. Show me Liameva. How do you pronounce it? I got to know going
Why is it showing me Doak Walker?
Because
this is bullshit. Biletnikoff.
Oh, my God.
I need Heisman.
Go to Heisman. You're on awards. Heisman has its own thing. Go to, what are you doing?
Heisman is an award. This is bullshit.
Go show me. Who is that? Pronounce that.
Nico Iamaleava.
Iamaleava. All right. That's who I'm taking. Tennessee quarterback. It's 15-1.
14-1 on FanDuel.
Okay. Well, Justin saw 15-1, so we're gonna go 15-1. And that's all I got. That's all I'm taking. So, do we have anything else? Justin, you're also on Nico. Who do you have anybody else for Heisman?
No, I threw one on Jalen Milroe.
Okay.
Plus 1,000, but that was the one too.
Justin historically bet Brock Purdy at Iowa State to win the Heisman Trophy and was clearly ahead of the curve because Brock Purdy has gone to a Super Bowl and should have
turned out pretty good.
Should have been the 2 if he didn't hurt his shoulder, elbow.
They have KJ Jefferson at 40-1.
Okay.
I would only take it at 80-1.
Okay.
I think you can find 80-1 on
What's DJU? Right there.
30-1.
That's insane. Avery Johnson. What is Avery Johnson? 25? The fact that DJU's that close to Avery Johnson is sickening.
He was closer to 30-1.
Yeah.
Now he's 25-1.
What's Nussmeier, like 18?
18-1, just like Daniels was.
Yeah. Huh.
Riley Leonard, 20-1.
Yeah. All right, so
I think your quarterback has to be able to run to win the Heisman these days.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And the guy from Tennessee is going to be able to do that. So, and Heupel, offense is not going to be an issue with Tennessee. They're going to be able to put points up on the board. So, I think the kid's going to be good. He's got good size. He can run like crazy. They say his arm talent is better than advertised or what we saw in the bowl game. So that's who I'm riding. 15-1 odds. You don't have anybody currently for Heisman?
Just Avery Johnson.
Oh yeah, right. Do you have national championship winner?
I'm gonna back you with Ohio State.
Yeah, I just think
if it's not now, then it's never.
Yeah, and they've got just as much talent as Georgia. You're getting the better odds between the two.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it's just more of an open year. Obviously, Oregon. I guess maybe I'm a little bit more convinced that Oregon's going to be good than you are.
No. I think they're going to be good. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they're going to be like last year. I think they'll be very similar to last year. So you think they're going to be substantially better than last year?
Yeah. I think when Oregon and Ohio State play each other, it's going to be like when Washington and Oregon played each other.
That's going to be the decider.
They're going to be meeting for the Big Ten
Gotcha.
earlier than the conference
and they'll
championship.
see each other again. Yeah. Okay.
Oregon, they have Dylan Gabriel, but they also got Dante Moore from UCLA as the backup.
Yeah.
So it's like if
that is
Gabriel
true.
does go down, he was definitely a highly recruited player, just didn't have experience last year.
Yeah, and they're going to have. I mean, they got a lot of talent. Like I said, Phil Knight gave them an open check, a blank check. That's all I have. Do y'all have anything else? You got anything else, Justin?
Nope.
We didn't really mention much about Texas. There'll definitely be players in the SEC this year.
Yeah, I think they're worthy of where they're at on the odds list. That's another thing too. You want to talk about backups? I watched the spring game, and I am now a believer on Arch Manning. I think Arch Manning is the best quarterback in the country. He looked fantastic in the spring game. I think it's going to be fun to watch if Ewers has a bad game, and then when people are like, put Arch in.
Or if he gets injured like he did 2 years ago when Hudson Card had to come in.
Exactly. And if he gets injured, he ain't getting his spot back.
Yeah.
It ain't happening. If bookmark that. If Quinn Ewers gets hurt, Arch Manning's coming in, he's taking the spot, and he is not giving it back. Texas is going to have a ton of talent again. So they got burners on the outside. Is the defense going to be good enough? It's the same old song and dance with Texas. I was reading some people are still very low on the defense and were like kind of critical of them in the spring game. I thought the secondary for the starters looked pretty solid in the spring game. So I wasn't disappointed with what I saw. So Texas is going to be good. Texas is certainly going to be a player. They should almost certainly be in the college football playoff. And we'll kind of see how it goes from there. That's, like I said, that's all I got. So that's all you got?
Yep.
Okay. All righty. That is episode 190 in the books. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Good luck if you bet my bets.
Justin, do you have anything to say before we go?
Nope. Good luck.
So, yeah, this is, like I said, it's the return of the Russian concussion. Justin historically had one of the best NFL betting seasons you'll probably ever see. That was probably year 3 of this podcast. If you don't believe us, you can go back and fact check it. Again, episode 190, hit like and subscribe wherever you are. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, hit subscribe there. But head on over to YouTube. Take a look at the new studio. I'm telling y'all right now, I specifically had to knock the cobwebs off, get back into the flow of doing a podcast. It's been the longest layoff that we've had since doing the show. Each week is going to get bigger and better. We're going to make a lot of money this year. I have a very, very good feeling. 12-team college football playoff. It's going to be one of the more exciting college football seasons in recent memory. We will be back in the studio next week doing our NFL Futures episode, and there's more money to be made, so we might as well make it. Y'all have a good one. Who dat?
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. I've been practicing this pitch a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.